Hello and welcome to episode number 29 of Life.EV, a podcast that dives into exploring values. I'm your host, Ajit Panicker, and lead an air conditioning company, Nova and Pureblu, a tech startup in the air conditioning domain. Every Saturday at 11 a.m., join us for conversations that go beyond business growth, focusing on the values that fuel it. Let's embark on a journey to uncover our true purpose and how we can grow by enriching our lives. Welcome to Life.EV, where we explore values in life and business. As always, I have with me Vivek Asrani. Hi, Vivek, how are you doing?
Hi Ajit, doing very well, enjoying the lovely monsoon in Lanavla today.
Absolutely, man. Well, for our viewers who are joining us for the first time, Vivek Asrani is the driving force behind KMO Fastener Company, a trailblazing company in the industrial fastener sector. What sets Vivek apart is his deep engagement with the exploration of values. For close to 4 years, he has dedicatedly penned his reflections on this topic every week. These insightful thoughts are accessible on his website, vivekasrani.com. Additionally, Vivek has authored the book One Day at a Time Reflections from Times of Silence, which further delves into his journey and insights. This thought provoking read is available on his website and on Amazon, offering readers a chance to engage with his profound understanding of values and their role in both personal and professional lives. In today's episode of Life.EV, we're delving into the topic worrying is a useless emotion. Over to you, Vivek. Let's hear your reflection on this.
Yeah, so actually, when I wrote the emotion, Ajit, I used a very strong word in terms of useless. I could have very nicely said that worrying is an unnecessary emotion, and don't worry, and why should we worry? And but I said no. I want to come across a little strong on this because I truly and honestly believe that it's a useless emotion. And why do I say that? On a serious note, look, the three aspects of worrying. One is it belongs to the future. We always worry about something that has yet not happened. If the event had already occurred in our life, then we wouldn't worry, then the emotion would be different. I'll give a very strong example just to demonstrate the principle. When someone is very unwell, we worry. When someone is critically ill in the ICU, we worry. God forbid something goes wrong and the person passes away. We stop worrying, right? Because now the event is already behind us. Then we may feel, sorrow and a whole lot of other emotions. So worry belongs to the future. The future is unknown, is unborn, is not in our control, and therefore to peg an emotion on something which is futuristic or which we have no control, to my mind, is absolutely useless. Does it therefore mean, and I'll just qualify that, does it mean that we shouldn't be concerned and shouldn't be looking about at the future? Of course, we should be looking ahead. Of course, we should be thinking about the future. But the discussion here is about mixing the emotion of worry when we are looking ahead. The second aspect of worrying, which is to my mind a compelling argument as to why it's completely useless, is because nothing changes or improves by worrying. At least if by worrying things got better, I would say start worrying. But it's completely useless because nothing is going to change and improve if you worry, right? So, I mean, imagine a student is preparing for an exam and is constantly getting worried about, how he or she will do in the paper. The parent is going to say, listen, by worrying, you're not going to get better marks. Yeah, if you're going to top the university by worrying, then please stay up all night and worry, which of course is a silly argument. So obviously, it's completely useless to worry because it doesn't change anything. And the third, to my mind, most important, worrying compromises our ability to give our best. So when we are worried, so obviously we are faced with a situation which is testing, is challenging, of concern. Sometimes you don't have the answers, which is why we are worried. Okay, and it's natural, it's human. At that point of time, we really need to give our 100% and we need to give our best. Worrying is a negative emotion which interferes with the free flow of our dynamic ability to give our best. So, look at it like light passing through a glass, and you really want all the light you can get with all its intensity to come through, and suddenly you start, layering that glass with a little bit of dust. What's going to happen? Some of the light will come through. It's not that it won't, but the intensity will get highly compromised, and that's what worry does. Because Ajit, end of the day, every emotion is energy. Either it's positive energy or negative energy. Worrying is negative energy. So when we are feeding the situation and ourselves negative energy, we're compromising ourselves. So the fact that it belongs to the future over which we have no control, the fact that nothing really changes by worrying, and the fact that it compromises us in terms of our health, mental well being, and ability to give our best, to my mind, it makes a compelling argument why it's a completely useless emotion.
Yeah, but Vivek, what happens is it's more easier said than done, right? I mean, we can speak about saying stop worrying, but what according to you are the common triggers that actually gets people worrying? What could it be? How do you actually figure out this? The common triggers that people worry excessively about.
So, worry comes from partly a deep sense of attachment. Okay, let's give an example, right? My neighbor's child is giving an exam. I'm not really worried. I mean, I hope that student does really well for himself or herself, right? I'll be very happy if he or she does well, but I don't get overly worried about it. My child is sitting for a critical exam on the basis of which he will get admission or not somewhere else. So as a parent, I start worrying. Now, what's the difference? I'm not the one giving the exam. In one case, I'm not worried. In the other case, I'm worried. The exam is being given by students outside of me giving the exam. Is my relationship with the person who's giving the exam. So it's my attachment to my son that makes me worry. So one root of worry is in attachment. The second root of worry is in fear. The fact that we are worried means in our mind there is the possibility of an outcome which is unfavorable, undesirable, and could have an adverse impact on our lives. That fear triggers off the worry. And the third element of worry, and where it really stems from, is when we start building a story on a story on a story on a story. So as it is, worry belongs to the future. Like, what if, you know okay, I'm putting up a project, I'm invested a lot of money, and so my first thought is, okay, what if the project doesn't work out as well as I thought? Then I'm like, if that happens, then I won't be able to pay off the banks. And then what happens then? Well, then I'll have to do this. Oh, and then this will happen, and then that could lead to that, and we just work ourselves up so much internally that it just kind of clouds our judgment and compromises us. So attachment, fear, and building this story in our own minds. And if we look back on life, Ajit, and I'm sure it's happened to you as well, very often the worries and the concerns that we were carrying, many times, I wouldn't say all the time, but many times they don't play out. And we look back and say, oh my God, I'm so thankful and grateful that it didn't happen. I was just so worried about, you know, had it happened, what would happen, but thank God it didn't happen. So, that's where the trigger to my mind is.
So my question, often when people say is, people who have a positive mindset have the least of the worries. And that stems from what you just said a few minutes ago also. So what's the impact on the positive mindset when it comes, because there are enough worries. You're worried about your personal, professional, as an entrepreneur, you got zillion stuff to be worried about. But they say the best guys are the guys who just are positive about, they're just positive about life, they're positive about everything, and they tend to worry the least. So how big is the positive mindset impact on worry?
Yeah. So uh, let me put this a little metaphorically. If you have to drive a car from one place to the other and you have to be successful in doing that, so first is you need the energy and the petrol and the gas in the car. So the emotions that we are feeling ourselves are very important, because that, to one extent, and is one aspect which really takes us forward. Positive energy propels us, negative energy retards us. Now sometimes negative energy can also be a propelling force in the short term, where you're so angry about something that that burst of energy that arises in you, and then you do something, but that doesn't sustain, in my opinion, over a long period of time. So the positivity is something that helps us to propel us forward. But here I must, Ajit, qualify what I'm saying, that we need to be careful that we don't fall into the trap of saying, oh, I just have a positive mindset and everything is going to be okay. No, I may have all the gas in the car, but I need a strong engine. So therefore, I need a solid plan. I need to use my intellect, think through what needs to be done, and do it in an intelligent manner. That's the engine of my planning. But then to say, okay, I have a great plan and I have a positive attitude. Okay, look at my plan on paper. It's superb. It's the best you can come across. And so now everything is going to work okay for me. No, you could have all the gas in the car, you could have a great engine, but if there isn't enough air in your tires, the car will not move forward. So we need to make sure that our positivity, our planning is backed with perseverance. And that is the grit, determination, and the hard work which we put in to make something go well and to achieve something. So we could then well say, okay, listen, I have great positivity, I have I have a great plan, and there's a lot of hard work. So everything's gonna go fine. No. Again, just like you're sitting in the car, you've got the gas, you've got the great engine, you've got the tires, you're moving well, but you have to make sure that you are aligned to the right road and you're not taking the wrong turns. So you need a purpose. So the driver, the person sitting behind the wheel, needs to have the conviction of purpose and the clarity of how we're going to do it. That, when combined with the positive attitude, is a magical combination. So just positivity and feel good is not, it's necessary but not sufficient. And I'm saying this because sometimes we fall in the trap to say, you know what, I just need to keep a positive mindset and everything will be okay. Yes, in a positive mindset, the answers will come to us. We'll be able to respond adequately, but we also need to plan. We also need to work hard and put in our best, and we also need to have clarity of direction and purpose as to where we are going.
So what you're saying is stop worrying because that's something in the future. You can't be, it's not, it's beyond your control. You got to stay positive, but what it also means is that you need to stay focused on the solution. Is that what it means? Is that from an entrepreneur's perspective? And let's narrow it down because you spoke about an example from an entrepreneur's perspective. Stop worrying. It's not in your control. It's something of the future, but you got to have a positive approach and stay focused on the solution. Is that how you're saying we should go?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, let's take the example of a company, right? Things go
Sure.
wrong sometimes. Let's say in terms of quality, and there's a huge backlash on the brand. Now, there's a lot of emotion flying around. There's anger, that how did this happen and who is responsible. There's fear, what's going to happen to our company, what's going to happen to the brand, and there's a lot of worry, that what does it mean for our people and products and brand and everything, profitability. Now that's the time when leadership needs to take a step back and say, listen, guys, what has happened, we will analyze, we'll do a root cause and learn from it. But right now, we need to focus on what is the solution and how do we get ourselves out of this. And at that point of time, if you start feeding the system with negative energy, with blame game, and I said we shouldn't do this, I had said so, and all the things, all the emotions that start coming out, it's going to hamper our ability to come up with the solution. So, absolutely, we need to focus on the solution. Second is, you know, the word focus means you're aligning all your thoughts to one point. It's the principle of a magnifying glass. Sunlight coming through a slab of glass will warm the paper below it. The same sunlight going through a magnifying glass will burn the paper. Okay, there'll be fire. The difference is just the focus and the alignment. And I think that, to my mind, is the antidote. And the last thing I will say on this, Ajit, is that knowledge is a huge antidote to worry. We worry because we don't know. But if we equip ourselves with knowledge, and this is where it's not just the secular knowledge of the subject matter, but we also need to invest in understanding the principles of life, the laws of the universe. And when some of that we start experiencing and observing and connecting and understanding, it deepens our faith. So worry also means there's lack of faith. So when we strengthen our faith, we diminish the worry. And I'll just leave you with the lovely song we've all heard. Don't worry, be happy. Because when you worry, you tend to frown and then you pull everybody else down. So don't worry.
Amazing. On that wonderful note, I think that's all the time that we have for today. This discussion has some deep insights. It certainly gives us plenty of time to ponder about the balance between exploring values and business growth. We're going to encourage you to not just keep these ideas to yourself. Share this episode with your friends, colleagues, and family and ask them, what do you think? Spark a conversation and see where it leads. And we'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Share your questions, your learnings, and the insights you've gained from this episode. It's through these shared experiences and perspectives that we all grow and learn. So don't hesitate to reach out and contribute to this ongoing conversation. Your voice matters in shaping a more ethically driven business world. That's it for today, and join us next week for another enriching episode of Life.EV, where we continue our exploration into the fascinating world of exploring values in our life. Vivek, thank you very much for these valuable contributions you make every week. And we look forward to diving deeper into these critical discussions in our next session. So, see you next week, where we'll unravel more of these insights and perspectives that shape our ethical compass. Thank you for listening, and remember to reach out to your friends and get a conversation going on life exploring values. Thank you very much, Vivek. See you next week.
My pleasure, Ajit. Thanks. Bye.
See you.